On the King's Coronation Day on Good Morning Britain tomorrow from 6. Pop superstar Pink chats to Lorraine at 9. Bob Geldof shares his plans for Band Aid's 40th anniversary on This Morning from 10. And Deborah Meaden joins the Loose Women at 12:30. The latest news from around the country now. It's Wales at 6 with Andrea Byrne.
On Tuesdays, Wales at 6. No team announcement for Saturday's England clash as the rugby row rolls on. But optimism from Gatland the game will be played despite the ructions.
It's probably been half a dozen meetings over the last few days, and hopefully those things get resolved and boys turn up on Thursday ready to go for Saturday.
Also tonight, as another quake rocks Turkey and Syria, we meet the hero firefighters back home after helping to save lives from the devastating wreckage. Plus, the babies benefiting from donated milk and why it's now become even easier to support new parents.
And join me at a pancake party where I'm having a flipping good time. Hey!
Hello, good evening to you. Well, will they or won't they? That's the question this evening for Wales's rugby players over their threat to strike and refuse to play against England at the Principality Stadium. Warren Gatland has delayed the naming of his team until Thursday amid the ongoing wrangling, as he revealed today that players and the WRU have been locked in numerous meetings over the past few days in a bid to break the impasse and ensure the fixture goes ahead. Here's our sports reporter Matt Southcombe with the latest.
Under normal circumstances, you'd hear the thud of tackle bags, players shouting and coaches barking instructions. But this afternoon, the WRU's training facility was empty. Wales's players were given the afternoon off as contract disputes continue. Head coach Warren Gatland has postponed his team announcement and a threat of strike action continues to loom. And he's unable to give any assurances that the game against England will even go ahead.
Warren, can you just start by explaining why the team announcement has been postponed?
Yeah, just I think with the uncertainty of what was happening, and there's been a lot of meetings and things going on, so just wanted to make sure we got clarity. And in terms of the boys got a day off tomorrow and then come back on Thursday, and we'll announce the team on Thursday.
So I guess at the moment you don't have any assurances over whether this game's going ahead?
Not at the moment, but I'm confident that with the discussions that are taking place that hopefully something will get resolved today.
This afternoon, players were supposed to be taken to the training field behind me. That session has been cancelled by head coach Warren Gatland, who feels there's too much disruption for players to concentrate. They've got tomorrow off as well, when there'll be more discussions about their contractual situation. But by the time they return here on Thursday, Warren Gatland hopes that the strike will be off and the game against England will be on.
How many meetings are the players having to have that are not related to the game against England on Saturday?
Oh, there's probably been half a dozen meetings over the last few days and stuff and things. So, so today was supposed to be a double session, but we've kept it to just this morning, so we're not training this afternoon. Like I said, hopefully those things get resolved and boys turn up on Thursday ready to go for Saturday. I'm hearing positive things from both sides, yeah. So, hopefully the discussions will be acceptable to both sides in terms of making some sort of compromise, and we can get on with the game.
These are the scenes that the WRU hope we will be seeing on Saturday. And one thing's for sure, they are scenes that Welsh rugby fans will never take for granted again.
And we can speak to Matt now. Lots of questions, Matt, for fans who've got tickets or are heading to Cardiff for the match. What does it all mean for them?
Well, Andrea, right now it means keep an eye on the updates. We're across this story and we'll do our best to provide the latest as and when it arrives. But right now, there isn't a lot to update on. The impasse continues. Warren Gatland sounded pretty upbeat about the chances of the game going ahead this Saturday. And I've always felt that players refusing to play was unlikely because of how much money is at stake. But players I've spoken to over the last week have convinced me that they're extremely serious about this. Gatland hoped there would be a resolution today, but I'm told a meeting this afternoon didn't go very well at all, and at the moment it doesn't feel like any progress is being made.
Well, that said, how do you think this all ends?
Well, I think what a lot of it comes down to is players feeling like they're being respected, listened to and valued by their employers. Currently, they're extremely angry. One player I spoke to this afternoon said he didn't feel like Welsh rugby bosses realised how serious the situation was. A scheduled meeting between the PRB, the board that runs pro rugby here in Wales this week, was cancelled. That hasn't gone over particularly well with the players given the gravity of the situation. It's important to note that this isn't about how much players are getting paid. Players understand that salaries are going to have to come down in Wales because Welsh rugby has been living outside of its means. But they want 100% certainty over their salaries. Under new proposals, that's not the case, and they want long-term security as soon as possible.
OK, Matt, we shall watch and wait. Thank you very much. A 6.4 magnitude earthquake has hit parts of southern Turkey and northern Syria, the third in a fortnight. Welsh firefighters have been helping with efforts to rescue those trapped in the rubble from the first quake before the latest tremor occurred. Two of those were from South Wales Fire and Rescue. They are Emma Atchley and Luke Davison, and they join me now in the studio, having just returned from the devastation in southern Turkey. Welcome to you both, and thanks very much for coming in. I'm sure you must still be quite tired from all your efforts. And Emma, indeed, the quake that we've just been hearing about is the last thing that people there need.
Absolutely, yeah. The level of devastation from the first two quakes was quite enormous, and there are a lot of people who don't have anything left. Their houses have gone, their belongings have gone, and often their family members have gone. There were a lot of buildings that were still standing but very precarious, and there's a chance that those have now come down in this subsequent earthquake.
And we've been seeing those images on our screens, but Luke, you saw them firsthand. Describe the conditions. How difficult were they to work in to do the job that you were doing?
I'm not sure I could have answered that question before I actually left on the deployment. You know, our day job as firefighters in South Wales, we sometimes meet people on possibly the worst day of their lives. You know, but the impact to see the devastation on such a wide scale, it was truly humbling, really. You know, to realise the impact that Mother Nature can have. And but the international rescue community pulling together to offer the aid that the Turkish government requested, and then subsequently managed to save lives. It's a truly humbling experience. Yeah.
And we saw just then some pictures of some examples of some of the rescues that took place. As you say, amongst all those harrowing scenes and moments, that there were some moments of joy and relief where lives were saved. What were those moments like for you, Emma?
It was really magnificent to be able to reunite people with their loved ones and to see how much difference we're making to their lives. And to be able to do that, you use lots of different techniques, don't you? And you took dogs over as well, is that right, to help you with some of those rescues and other technology that's kind of moving on? Absolutely,
yes. So you know, our primary role is ourselves. We've 77 of us deployed with the UK ISAR team, as well as 4 rescue dogs. Now. We can use very rudimental sort of techniques, which is using our ears, our eyes, and we also have then technology such as seismic and acoustic listening devices. We have search cameras, and the most important tool for us, one of the most important tools for us, are the rescue dogs. The rescue dogs are able to enter an area where perhaps might be precarious for ourselves. They don't have quite the impact on the rubble pile, if you like, as a person would, and they're able to pinpoint the location, which gives us a much narrower avenue to be able to find and rescue the people that may be trapped.
Really clever stuff, and really clever animals to be able to do the work that they do. What does it mean to you to be able to have been a part of this mission, and why did you want to do it? Why do you want to do this?
I think the reason that we joined the fire service in the first place is because we want to be helpful and to help people. UK International Search and Rescue is voluntary, so we do this voluntarily, and it's a real privilege to have been able to, as small a help as we've given, to help one person, you're helping a whole family, all their friends. So yeah, it was a real privilege to be able to go out and do something.
I suppose there's every chance you may get called back if there's further tremors.
Absolutely, the UK ISAR team, we stand ready to deploy once again. Once we repatriate our equipment, couple of loads of washing and some good rest later, and we stand ready to move again.
We thank you for your efforts, and hopefully you're recovered and as you say, maybe ready to go again. Thank you very much for coming in to talk to us.
Thank you.
Pleasure, thank you.
Elsewhere this evening, North Wales Police have announced they are investigating 27 misconduct claims involving 24 staff. 13 cases relate to violence against women and girls, including sexual misconduct and domestic abuse. It comes after police misconduct reports have been commissioned across the UK after the case of rapist and former Metropolitan Police officer David Carrick. Plans for a National Football Museum for Wales have taken a step forward with new funding announced by the Welsh Government. £5.4 million is being given to the build at Wrexham Museum. The hope is it'll build on the success of Cymru reaching last year's World Cup. A decision on creating a free port here in Wales will be made in the next few weeks, MPs have been told. Free ports are special economic zones where businesses trading internationally get tax breaks and other benefits. UK and Welsh Government ministers are said to be close to giving the go-ahead for one. In the Commons today, a UK Government minister set out what he said are the advantages.
Free ports are magnets for investment, and business located in free ports will benefit from a generous package of measures comprising tax reliefs, customs advantages, business rate relief, innovation and trade and investment support. These tools, paired with the ambitious £26 million of public investment in seed funding, will unlock much needed investment and high quality jobs.
People recovering from alcohol and substance misuse are being helped back into work thanks to a £13 million scheme which aims to get over 10,000 unemployed people into a job by 2025. The future of the Cyfle Cymru project was unclear when European funding ran out, but the Welsh Government has stepped in. Ian Lang has the story.
A decade ago, George James was in a dark place, and he was, by his own admission, at rock bottom. But 10 years later, his life has been transformed, and he now has a leading role in the organisation that helped him when he needed it most.
As a previous person with substance misuse and mental health issues, the difficulty for myself was, where did I go after I'd stopped drinking? Where did I go where I'd had that clinical support? And there was nothing. But I was offered to get involved with the previous peer mentoring project back in 2012, where I spoke to someone who'd had lived experience, and it was completely different. It was somebody who understood how I felt, but also understood that I needed to look at actions to build on my future.
And today was a day to celebrate the fact that the Cyfle Cymru scheme, which helps people with substance misuse and mental health issues back into work, is now up and running across Wales. That thanks to the Welsh Government, which came up with the money when European funding ended.
We're looking to support over 10,000 people into either employment, training, volunteering opportunities, whatever's right for them really. So it's a big commitment. It really does lift them up, and you've seen that today with the choir and everything, and that's what we're trying to do, support the people who are most vulnerable to get that confidence, get their lives back on track.
With this project we can help anyone who suffers from mental health issues or substance misuse, addiction issues, whatever they are, so it doesn't have to be both, it can be one or the other. And it brings them together, and they get support from each other, from our peer mentors who've been in their shoes, walked a mile in their shoes, who provide inspiration for them because they've been there.
And members of the Wrexham One Love Choir speak with enthusiasm about how it feels to be part of something that gives confidence and hope.
The encouragement has been superb. It encourages me to do different singing, definitely gives me confidence because I'm a different person than I used to be when I first went to the choir.
It keeps me going on a daily basis, I suppose. Obviously I've struggled with my own mental health, and it just keeps me going, and it gives me something to look forward to.
In all, a total of £13 million has been committed to the scheme by the Welsh Government over the next 3 years to help turn lives around. Ian Lang, ITV News, Wrexham.
OK, what else have we got for you this Tuesday evening? Well, Charlie will have your weather forecast for you.
We've got a bit of a change in our weather for the next few days, something a little cooler, a bit brighter. All the details coming up at the end of the programme.
And it is Pancake Day. So it's ready, steady, go. We'll be joining in the flipping fun this Shrove Tuesday. First, though, this week marks a year since Russia invaded Ukraine, with the devastation and loss of life that ensued. Many have lost family members, and we've told you about refugees who have been making Wales their home. One effect the war has also had on all of us is the increased cost of energy and food, something that farmers are still grappling with a year on. Our Rural Affairs correspondent Hannah Thomas has been hearing about those challenges.
This time last year, it was costing Caroline Morgan half as much to feed her calves. But then the Ukrainian war broke out. Ukraine was a big producer of animal food. And so without their supply, there's been huge pressure on global markets and feed has been more expensive.
It makes you reevaluate everything all the time. Can we realistically keep milking the number of cows we got? Or do we decrease and just try and get by right now? I've got 2 children that need school trips and school lunches and school, new clothes because they keep growing, and that does impact your mental health.
Caroline runs an organic dairy farm at St Bride's Major in the Vale of Glamorgan with her brother James. For him, it's about the high price of fuel. Every trip he needs to do in the tractor costs 3 times as much money.
Before the Ukrainian war, it was looking good. We had the milker, the farm was paying for itself quite well. But now with them costs, it is crippling us really. We are struggling to keep our head above water. The problem is there's no end in sight either.
Their lifeline has been selling milkshakes from a hut down the road. It's added value to the milk they're producing on the farm.
Well, for James and Caroline, these have been little bottles of liquid gold, because if it wasn't for the income generated from their new milkshake business, they would be struggling to break even in this cost of living crisis.
And they're far from alone. The bad news is that industry leaders believe the crisis will deepen further.
It's owing to this war in Ukraine. It's really hitting everybody. And I can tell you now, there's going to be a serious shortage of food through the next 12 months in the future.
Things haven't really picked up.
Nothing has picked up at all. I think it's going to be worse as it goes on. It's going to be a bad old time for the farming industry.
Rural mental health charity, the DPJ, have been inundated with calls.
Farming and general life, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Their Share the Load service has never been busier.
In 2022, we had around a 28% increase in the volume of calls coming through our helpline that were being referred to counselling. And without a doubt, the cost of living and the challenges of farming through a crisis where costs were escalating was part of that issue. We can help with trying to build resilience from a mental health perspective, but actually when you're really struggling to put money on your kids' lunchtime cards, that's really hard. That's your first priority, and trying to find those answers can be really difficult.
Farmers and us as consumers are still feeling the pinch in our pockets, but while war rages on, the prospects of cheaper food are a long way away. Hannah Thomas, ITV News in St Bride's Major.
Yeah, the growing plight of our farmers over this last year. Now, sick and premature babies in Wales will benefit from the arrival of a new electric vehicle to support donor milk collections. Until now, only blood bikes have been transporting the milk, but this dedicated vehicle can now transport larger quantities of donor milk in line with rising demands for the service. Dean Thomas Welch reports.
Meet Jacob. He's a smiley, happy and active 1-year-old. He was delivered 2 months premature. That means his mum Sarah from Swansea was not in a position to breastfeed him.
The nurses and the doctor discussed with me donor breast milk. Never heard about that. Never heard of it in my life. So I jumped at the chance, because not only then would it give him the benefits of the infection protection and antibodies straight away, help the growth and development. It also bridged the gap for me in waiting for my milk to come in before I could give my own milk, if that makes sense. So for me, it was it was a lifeline really, whilst I was still recovering after the birth.
Once Sarah was in a position to feed Jacob herself, she also donated her milk to a donor milk hub, as did Gayatri Cook, who broke her arm in a car crash while she was pregnant. She still has her arm in a sling and still requires help looking after her child. But that hasn't stopped her ensuring babies without milk do not go hungry.
I got a lot out of breastfeeding, and I didn't feel like I was doing much as a mum, and I felt I wanted to help others. So I produced a lot of milk. So I thought, rather than waste it because he didn't need it, I would donate to poorly babies.
The Donor Milk Hub was formed in partnership between Swansea Bay University Health Board, Swansea University and the Human Milk Foundation. In the beginning, milk from the hub in Singleton Hospital was delivered by blood bikes. Now a new electric car means more milk can be collected and delivered to more babies across Wales.
When babies are born prematurely or they're unwell, human milk is really, really important for them, but sometimes mothers can't make enough milk of their own, and this is where milk from other mothers comes in, because it really helps protect their health and development.
For many mums, breastfeeding their child can prove difficult. This new service ensures babies in Wales will continue to benefit from breast milk. Dean Thomas Welch, ITV News.
A quick bit of sports news now. Wales have drawn 1-1 with Scotland in their final game of the Pinatar Cup. Scotland took the lead in the 8th minute through a Sophie Howard diving header. Cymru levelled the match just before half-time after Kerry Holland finished off a team move. The draw means Iceland only need a point in their game against the Philippines to win the tournament. You're watching Wales at 6. It's 21 minutes past now. Let's get a reminder of our top story tonight. Huge doubt remains over whether Wales' Six Nations game against England will go ahead as the row over contracts continues. The team announcement for this weekend's fixture was cancelled this morning with the continued threat of strike action by the players. They're set to hold further talks with the WRU officials tomorrow. Still to come on the ITV Evening News.
Coming up in the programme, tensions are heightened over Ukraine as Vladimir Putin pulls out of a major nuclear arms pact with the US. The move will be seen as an escalation ahead of the first anniversary of Putin's invasion. Today, the Russian president once again tried to claim he was trying to end the war in Ukraine. Also ahead, good news for women going through the menopause as the cost of HRT is lowered. But what can be done about supply issues? The groundbreaking scheme that showed a 4-day working week could actually prove more productive. And why you might be having a tough time finding tomatoes on your supermarket shelves. Would you join me for those stories and more at 6:30?
Well, no tomatoes here either, but plenty of these finally tonight. Have you eaten your pancakes today? It is Shrove Tuesday, otherwise known as Pancake Day, and various events are happening right across Wales, including in Bethesda Chapel in Dinas Powys, where cooking lessons and a pancake race for the children in the area have been taking place. Our reporter Sean Jenkins went along to see what it's all about.
Yes, it's Pancake Day, and what better way to celebrate Pancake Day than with a pancake party? And I'm here in Bethesda Chapel in Dinas Powys, where, as you can see, there are plenty of pancakes on offer, ready to be served to over 70 children. Some goodies here too, some marshmallows and fruit. I've helped myself to those, but I won't tell anyone about that. Anyway, and in here we have the activities and the games going on, where, as I said, nearly 70 children taking part in various games to celebrate Pancake Day. And the person who's organised all of this, Matt Lewis, why did you organise it? What's it all about?
Well, as a church, we just love being part of the community and looking for points of contact with the community. Pancake Day is something we see in the shops. It's something that's got a Christian tradition. So we just wanted to invite the kids in and have a good time with them.
And some would say organising an event for 70 children is quite a task. You're a very brave man.
We've got a great team. We're very blessed as a church with a great team of volunteers who want to help. To be honest, we set the limit of 50, so I don't know quite what happened, except people kept phoning and saying, can my child come, can my child come? So we're pleased to have them.
Obviously a very popular event. Matt, thank you very much and all the best with it. And joining me now are Alfie. Alfie, how's it been going? What have you been up to?
We've been up to, like, balancing pancakes on our heads and tossing pancakes.
And what was your name? What was your name? Noah. Noah, what have you been doing? You've been enjoying yourself? What have you been up to? Yeah, and what you'll be eating later? I've just seen all the pancakes and all the sweets and things. How many are you going to eat? Do you think you'll eat one or maybe a few more?
Maybe 2.
2?
10.
Noah? 10! You'll eat all 10? Good work. I'll leave you to it, boys. Thank you very much for the chat. Well, and I sort of got to take part, really, haven't I? So, Steve, what is this? To balance on my head?
Balance on your head, let's see how far.
Here we go. Now we're talking.
He's a good sport, isn't he? And whether he's eating 2 or 10, he's certainly built up his appetite there. Well, from that to the weather, it's been a bit of a cold start in Cardiff. Let's see what it's up to with Charlie.
Transport for Wales. Proud sponsors of ITV Cymru Wales Weather.
Hello. Now, as we head into tomorrow, we're going to start to see some changes in the look and feel of our weather. Today, fairly cloudy, temperatures in double figures. Tonight will be mild again, frost-free. A few outbreaks of rain arriving by tomorrow morning, after which we're going to usher in something a little bit cooler. It's this cold front here that works its way in during the early hours of tomorrow morning. Once that clears through, we have a bit of a change in wind direction, courtesy of this area of high pressure sat out towards the west of the UK. Winds go clockwise around areas of low pressure, which means we end up with a northwesterly, which is cold at almost any time of year, but particularly in the winter. It should also, though, give us a little bit more sunshine, so a little bit of a bonus treat there, but not as we head through the next 12 hours or so. It's cloudy out there. We're going to see a lot of hill fog and low cloud, and then by the early hours of tomorrow, this cold front, quite narrow, but a little area of persistent rain, followed by something a little bit more showery by the end of the night. The wind's picking up a little bit as well. As you can see, temperatures down to around about 4 or 5 Celsius, so it will be frost-free. However, we have a fairly chilly day ahead on Wednesday. It's a very showery day. I haven't seen one of those for quite some time. Some of the showers will be heavy across the very highest peaks, particularly in North Wales. We could see a bit of snow falling, but there'll be a lot of sunshine between them. That's the key difference. So it might look a little brighter, but it'll feel a bit colder. Temperatures much nearer normal, only up to 8 or 9 Celsius at most, and the breeze will make it feel particularly cold, especially around the coast, especially over the hills and mountains. But it turns dry for the rest of the week. High pressure still close by, so a good deal of sunshine really as we head through the rest of the week and into the weekend. You can see daytime temperatures stay fairly close to normal. It's the nights, I think, we'll feel that real change to something a little bit colder, maybe frosty too.
Trafnidiaeth Cymru yn falch I noddi tywyd ITV Cymru Wales.
Let's focus on the sunshine that's hopefully coming at the end of the week for half term. For now, though, from all of us, that is it for Wales at 6. Sean Jenkins is back with you from the Pancakes with the late update after the news at 10. For now, from all of us, thanks for watching and enjoy Shrove Tuesday. Bye-bye.
This is an urgent appeal from the Disasters Emergency Committee. You've seen the news. Many people have lost their lives and survivors urgently need life-saving assistance. We need your help to provide life-saving food, shelter, clean water and medical assistance. Please call 0800 038 0241. Text SAVE1 to 70787 to give £10 or go online to donate now. Thank you.
Hello, we're ITV Win, and we love making winners. Big ones, little ones, all around.